Let me tell you something about the situation of this girl. People wouldn't know she was hurting. She hides her feelings and emotions behind the fake smile she puts on her face. She tries to fit in, but somehow it never works. She got her own problems, but people would never know that because she keeps it to herself. She acts like everything is fine and that she has no care in the world, but behind all of that, she is bleeding. She lies in bed at night, crying, trying to hide because she doesn't want to wake up anyone in the house. It is silent and peaceful, but not for her. The silence is killing her. She starts to overthink everything. She starts to hate herself. She stops believing in herself. She stops chasing her dreams. Lots of emotions within her plead for freedom. Emotions that are locked in a closed door. Emotions that are forced not to be felt. It's like a room full of unused things, full of secrets. These are concealed emotions. Usually, anger, anxiety, disgust, embarrassment, fear, frustration, and sadness. And the door represents the emotions we express as a replacement, like amusement, boredom, contempt, frustration, happiness, interest, and sadness. Now I want you to know if concealing our emotions a bad thing or a good thing. Just look at your body. Is anything that goes inside of you be able to stay there? Of course not. It will be toxic for you if you only ate and never removed bodily waste from your body. Or imagine what would happen if you only inhale and not exhale. This is exactly how our emotions work. Emotions are only messages sent by our subconscious mind to our conscious mind in order to make us aware of something. If we are constantly blocking those emotions from its path to our conscious mind, then as a result, we will have an excess of information and feelings which can result in a breakdown or overload, also known as depression. Depression can lead us to many other issues such as health problems, mental disorders, and the most common effect, anger. But still, people tend to hide their emotions for some reasons. First and foremost reason is because we live in a fake world. Everyone around is fake. It is simply a natural effect of growing up in that surrounding. There are also other reasons that we may endeavor to hide or disguise the emotional pain that comes in the wake of negative beliefs about ourselves evoked by a particular person or situation. But what they have in common is that they're all fear-induced. Perhaps paramount among our tendencies to conceal our emotional fragility from others is the fear that exposing it would make us look weak to them, and indeed make us feel weak and powerless ourselves. There are probably some sexual differences here. For example, men are usually likely to avoid divulging wounded feelings for fear that doing so will compromise their felt sense of masculinity. Women, on the other hand, are much more likely to worry that disclosing their emotional distress may lead them to be told that they're too thin-skinned or more commonly too sensitive. If we're codependent or feeling more responsible for the feelings of others than our own, we may also fear that freely expressing our emotions could launch some kind of emotional contagion. Afraid that openly letting our own hurt might somehow be infectious, we may hold it in, unwilling to take the chance of making anyone else upset. I remember when I was in third year high school, my best friend and I had a misunderstanding. I was trying to show that I'm just fine and that I can live a day without her because of my ego. But seeing her happy and looking like she's not affected by our situation makes me want to burst out my feelings. I ran to the restroom with another friend of mine and started to break down. After crying, I washed my face and asked my friend, "Is it obvious that I cried?" She just commended me for being so good in hiding what I feel. She barely realized that I was already having a problem that time. When we got back to our room, no one noticed that there was something wrong with me, except that one friend who told me, "Hey, why did you cry? Are you fine?" I was shocked by that time, like, how did he know it? I just said, "Why would I cry? I'm fine." There comes lying. You make people believe that you're fine even though you're not. Before lying to others, don't you know that you already lied to yourself? That is self-deception. We fool ourselves into believing things that are false and refusing things that are true, just like acting like you don't care though you really do. The time when I told myself I'm fine without her and that I don't need her, it is self-deception, caused by my hidden emotion. That time, I'm unaware that I was already lying to myself. Now identifying whether the person is lying will now make it easier to spot whether the person is hiding their emotion. The one who asked me is also a close friend of mine. We've known each other for over 2 years. He knows when I'm lying or not. Also, there are other people who already got the skill to see the true feelings of others. This skill may be developed by their experience or their getting used to it. Negative thoughts are also usually the source of having emotions that we usually hide. The problem with negative thoughts is that if they were not controlled, they keep growing until they take over the mind. When we choose to bury our feelings, we act differently. We may not make ourselves available to others and may withdraw or just not be fully engaged when we do spend time with other people. When you express how you really feel, problems get solved, relationship issues get resolved, and life is easier. In addition, you will like your life better because you're not holding on to unhealed or confused feelings. Other times, we need to express our pain and sadness, and many people are afraid to do so because they fear that once they get started, they may not be able to stop. This is a common misconception, for depressing thoughts can distort your thinking and it's hard to perceive the world correctly during those times. The truth is that by letting the tears flow, you are letting out what hurts while making the room in your heart for positive thoughts and feelings. Expressing your pain is actually a good way to make it stop. Everybody isn't what they seem. Lots of emotion can be hidden behind a smile, but deep down inside, there is still something for you. There is still something nice in the inner side of the room that you couldn't see because it is blocked by the negative emotions that you decided to conceal. That if you only open the door and let go of these emotions is when these nice things show. Dare to open the door. Dare to let go of your emotions. Emotions are not there to be concealed or buried within you. They are meant to be felt.